We welcome Master Gardener Jill Secord and an upcoming event presenter, John Blair. Welcome. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hi, John.
Hi, Bart.
First, we've got to wish happy birthday to Jill. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Awesome. And Jill might be familiar to some of our JTV viewers. You were featured on a Where We Live in Your Garden.
Yes, I was, and you still play it occasionally. People comment on it, so I hope they enjoy it.
Well, cool. So you've got your spring conference coming up.
We do. It's on April 6th. It's going to be from 9 until 3. And people will be able to come and have coffee in the morning and look around a little bit. We're going to have some nice vendors there. We'll have the Oakland County gardeners that are there. They sometimes will have a lot of different gardening things that people would like. There's also going to be some vendors that are going to have succulent plants that they can buy. There'll be some folks that are there from native gardens, so there'll be native plants that they can buy. Bex will also be there. They're a really good helper and educator of ours, as well as, we really enjoy Bex for everything that they do for us. So they're going to be there as well, and they'll be selling probably some plants and flowers, and we're pretty excited about it. So
nice. And you've got 3 special speakers.
We do. And so the first speaker that we have, her name is Shika Singh, and she's the coordinator for Jackson Lenawee and Washtenaw. It's for the Cooperative for Invasive Species. Mm-hmm. And people, might say, well, what does that mean? Well, what she does is she has been working with the Great Lakes Environmental Society in working on issues for like 19 years. She talks about water conservation and invasive biology. So she talks about the different kinds of species that come in and maybe kill our environment.
Like the zebra mussel.
Absolutely. So things like that. She also partners with people who have questions about it and gives them different things that they can do to work against it. Brings it up to people like us, like the different gardeners, to say, hey, this bug is in the area, take a look, this is what it looks like. And you don't really realize how important it is until you get things like bugs that kill the birch trees, or some of the other blights and things that we have.
All right, that's Shika Singh.
Yeah, so she would be the first speaker. And then our next speaker is Vince St. Marie. And he's been coming to our Master Gardener event that we have with the other gardeners, and that's at the fairgrounds. So we do that every May, where we do the plant sale. Yep. And so we have the Men's Garden Club and all of them. And he's been coming to that. He has a lot of native plants. He has a place in environmentally friendly farm in Manchester, and he also has bees, and so he's very knowledgeable about those kinds of things. And he's going to be talking about native plants and sort of what's the science behind why you want to have native plants. Kind of when you were talking with John, you were kind of asking about, what's a prairie garden, and what do they do, and why do we want to do that? It helps with erosion. It also helps us have more of the bees and the butterflies and things like that. And all this becomes really important when you don't have bees, you don't have pollinators. And then, for example, my son said to me last year, Mom, what happened to my cucumbers? Why do they look so weird? They were actually like tortuous, like they turned, and they didn't taste right. And I think they weren't pollinated. Because he didn't have the bees. So people are understanding how important it is to have the bees and to have the different pollinators.
And John is your third speaker. And John,
correct.
Jill mentioned prairie restoration, yes, and butterfly garden. So you've got two areas of expertise.
Exactly. Yeah. After I retired from Ford, I wanted to find something I could do to help the environment, and something I was interested in. And I went to a talk by a lady who showed how to make butterfly gardens and utilize a lot of what we call native plants. And these are the plants that were here before the area was settled. And these are the ones that our pollinators need and have to use to survive. And you mentioned invasive species, that we need to make sure that there's enough native plants to sustain things like bees and birds and butterflies. Many of the plants from Europe and Asia, they're not useful because the creatures here do not evolve with them. So when I got to the point where I used up all my room on my property in Westland, my wife suggested that we move somewhere with acreage that I could continue my pursuit of making a prairie restoration with native plants and pollinator gardens.
Are these your gardens?
Yes, they are.
Oh, wow.
Aren't they gorgeous?
They are. That's a lot. Is it a lot of work?
Yes, there's about 10,000 square feet of the butterfly/pollinator gardens and 5 acres of prairie.
So butterflies are pollinators?
Yes, they are.
Same
indeed.
kind of, like bees, do they do different things?
Yes, butterflies are, they're analogous to what bees do. They transfer the pollen from plant to plant, which is necessary for the plants to survive. So.
Wow. So is this the John Blair spread here?
Yes, it is, and that's a
Okay.
pre-restoration view.
Oh, yeah.
And if the next slide should show the yellow mega bloom we had last year after the prairie was planted. And we have 145 different species of native plants that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife partnered with us to plant in this 5 acre prairie restoration.
You don't have any allergies, do you?
No, and actually, it's kind of a myth that goldenrod is causing allergies. It's pollinated actually by insects. It's very sticky. It's not an air pollinated plant. Ragweed is actually the one that's in the allergy causing one.
And you're not growing ragweed?
No ragweed.
So what have you noticed, because you're fairly new to the Irish Hills, you plant this raw property with all of this, then what do you notice as, other than the beauty of the flowers?
A big thing I noticed when it was hayfield when we first moved in, you could walk, hay is actually Asian and European grasses. It's not native U.S. grasses. You could walk through those grasses and not see a living thing. It was like a sterile environment. And now that the restoration is underway with all these native plants, it's loaded with life. There's bees, there's birds, there's actually reptiles and amphibians. We have restored 3 ponds and they're loaded with life.
Huh.
It's just wonderful to see the transition.
So using non-native plants, the animals are smarter than us.
Yeah, they didn't evolve with them and they can't use them. They're beautiful to us, but useless for the most part to insects, pollinators, butterflies, and birds.
Well, I would imagine you're going to have a lot of interest in your program, both on butterfly gardens and prairie restoration, along with your other
Absolutely.
topics.
Absolutely.
And you're going to give people lunch too?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
And it's at JCC, and it is in the Burt Walker Hall, which is newly renovated. So I've not been there before, but evidently they've renovated it, and we have space for 75 people.
It's beautiful.
So,
You'll have
yeah.
a wonderful time. And can you start a butterfly garden in a little postage stamp piece of land?
By all means, you don't have to have an enormous area full of plants to do it. You can actually do containers even. One of my talks is how to make a butterfly garden, and I tell which plants are perfect here in Michigan that can be used either containers or even large sites.
And you don't have to go out and find butterflies. The butterflies will find your little...
Correct. If you have the right plants that they need, they will come to you. It's really miraculous when you plant something with natives. You'll see a big difference.
Interesting. It's too early to start planting things, isn't it?
It is a little early.
Yeah. It seems
People have
like-
been wanting to get out, but it is a
Right.
little early. And you'll go and you'll plant and then it'll snow. So no, we really should wait till at least Mother's Day or a little after.
Yeah, you plant something, you're guaranteeing you're going to get snow.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And we always say just check with Bex, because usually they know exactly when we
they
should plant.
seem to be full of experts.
Yes.
All right, so you want people to register ahead of time?
Yes, actually, I think registration is ending I think it's this week. Yeah, March 20th, so next week. And they have a QR code on there, or you could call for questions, or if you want to send a check. And I think it's going to be there's also going to be a silent auction and giveaways too. So
Fun.
should be a fun time.
And can people join the Master Garden Association?
Absolutely. They would take the class, And the class is online now, and it's 30 hours, and you learn a lot about soil, you learn a lot about bugs, you learn about a lot about different kinds of seeds and gardening and that type of thing, but it's a whole gamut. And then also, even if you're not a master gardener, you obviously can come to this type of thing, but also you can call the extension office if you have questions about something about your soil, or if you have questions about, well, why is this tree not doing well? You know, that type of thing.
I'm a master non-gardener.
That's what you said. We'll get you some container gardening. How about
Okay.
that?
John, your neighbors, they must be very happy that you showed up.
They are, but I think it's a little odd. They're mostly farming folks, and to see someone take a hayfield and turn it into a native plant restoration, I think was unusual. And a lot of people would drive along the road and slow to look, so I ended up putting up some signs indicating this is a prairie restoration, with, native plants, lots of information where people passing by would understand what I'm working on.
Nice. And John's on Wampler's Lake Road, in case you want to drive by. Nice to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you
you,
so
Bart.
much.
From the Jackson County Master Gardeners Association and the Spring Conference, Jill Secord and John Blair. Well,